Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a concept so groundbreaking, it is literally poised to completely reshape Islamic finance. We're looking at the transformation of traditional Islamic endowments, better known as a Waqf, into dynamic, globally accessible digital assets. By blending ancient, incredible philanthropy with cutting-edge Web3 tech, we're standing right at the edge of a brand new financial frontier.
Think about this for a second. It's a profound question. What if your investments didn't just pay you out today, but literally rewarded you eternally? That is the core dual benefit premise of Awqaf real-world asset, or RWA, tokenization. Because instead of simply donating money and walking away, this system offers a structured, fractionalized investment. It generates tangible financial returns for you today, lets you actively participate in doing real-world good, and perpetually funds charitable causes. It is an investment strategy explicitly designed for both earthly ROI and eternal rewards.
All right, let's briefly map out our journey. We'll start with the sleeping giant, move into the FIUSS solution, and then break down the tokenization engine itself. After that, we'll look at the earthly ROI and eternal rewards, explore the global validator network, and finally wrap up with unifying Islamic capital markets.
Section 1. The Sleeping Giant. Before we jump into the tech, we really need to understand the incredible historical power and the current limitations of these dormant assets.
So, let's lay down a quick baseline. A Waqf, and Awqaf is just the plural form, is fundamentally an asset that is protected from ever having its ownership transferred. It's locked in perpetuity. And the most crucial point here is that the benefits or the income generated from this asset are permanently dedicated to charitable purposes. Historically, this has been a massively powerful tool for social good, funding hospitals, schools, and infrastructure for centuries.
But here is where the problem lies, and it's a huge one. Across the globe, it's estimated that there is between $1 and $3 trillion worth of Waqf assets. To put that into perspective, that's literally larger than the GDP of many major nations. Yet a vast majority of this real estate, we're talking prime land, huge buildings, agricultural estates, is just sitting there, totally dormant. It's illiquid. Because the assets can't be sold and because Awqaf institutions often lack the upfront capital to develop them, this astronomical amount of wealth is severely underutilized, effectively locked away in a fragmented and historically opaque system.
Section 2. The FIUSS solution. So how do we actually unlock trillions in dormant wealth without violating the sacred rules of the endowment?
Well, this is exactly where the magic happens. FIUSS stands right at this new financial frontier, directly bridging traditional Islamic social finance with modern Web3 technology. It takes these high-value, undeveloped Awqaf assets and uses distributed ledger technology to transform them into liquid, tradable, and income-generating digital securities. It's a real game-changer.
When you compare the old system with the new one, the contrast is stark. Historically, Waqf administration has really struggled with fragmented record-keeping, a lack of transparency, and extreme illiquidity. The FIUSS tokenized Waqf completely replaces that opacity with mathematical certainty. It makes the asset globally accessible through the blockchain, verifiable in real-time on-chain, and completely fractionalized. You no longer need millions of dollars to develop a Waqf property. Everyday retail investors globally can participate with fractional shares.
Section 3. The tokenization engine. Now, you might be wondering, how exactly does a physical piece of land become a digital token in your wallet? Let's break down those mechanics.
FIUSS uses this really innovative concept they call an STO in a box, a low-code tokenization studio. Basically, it's a 10-stage life cycle that takes a physical asset from the initial onboarding all the way through to a perpetual on-chain audit. It's a highly governed, step-by-step pipeline designed specifically for Waqf-linked Islamic capital market instruments.
Let's walk through the first half of that journey. It kicks off with Step 1, digital KYC and application. Step 2 requires independent audits, just to ensure the asset is structurally sound. Step 3 is absolutely vital. It's the legal and Shariah structuring, where the asset is incorporated into a compliant special purpose vehicle or sukuk structure. That legal wrapper is what actually backs the token. Then, the token is generated, fractionalized, and finally, the prospectus and funding caps are defined.
Moving right along, we go through primary distribution and on-chain settlement.
But honestly, step 8 is where things get super interesting. Automated life cycle management. Smart contracts automatically collect revenues, say rental income from a newly built hospital, and they execute dividend payouts seamlessly. Step 9 allows these tokens to be traded on a peer-to-peer decentralized exchange, giving investors liquidity that literally never existed before. And finally, Step 10 ensures every single cent is traceable through perpetual on-chain auditing.
Section 4, Earthly ROI and Eternal Rewards. Okay, so we've seen the machinery under the hood. Now let's look at the actual output for you, the participant.
Check out this programmable income waterfall. When a tokenized Waqf asset generates revenue, the smart contract splits the profits automatically. There's zero reliance on human discretion. Based on this reference split, 70% goes directly to you, the investor, as a profit share dividend. 20% is routed instantly to the charitable purpose, the Sadaqah Jariyah, which secures your eternal rewards. And the remaining 10% acts as a reserve to protect the physical asset itself. It is a mathematical guarantee of your ROI right alongside perpetual charity.
There's a quote from the source material that hits the nail on the head. It says, FIUSS does not digitize the Waqf. It re-expresses the Waqf as a financial primitive whose rules are enforced by code rather than by discretion. That is absolutely crucial. The soul of the Waqf, its perpetuity and its charitable intent, is totally protected by Shariah principles. But the value of the Waqf, the income and the appreciation, is unlocked and distributed completely transparently via blockchain.
Section 5. The Global Validator Network. Now, an automated financial system of this magnitude obviously requires absolute trust. So who's actually running this network?
Well, unlike your typical cryptocurrencies that are validated by anonymous miners, FIUSS takes a fundamentally different approach. They call it institutional decentralization. The actual nodes validating these transactions are national Awqaf boards, Islamic banks, licensed custodians, and sovereign endowment organizations. The institutions themselves collectively own and secure the entire infrastructure.
To ensure this institutional network is practically bulletproof, FIUSS uses a multi-layered hybrid consensus architecture. It relies on a Byzantine fault-tolerant core, meaning the system stays perfectly intact even if some nodes fail or try to act maliciously. It layers in proof of stake for economic security, requiring institutions to literally stake their capital, and most importantly, it uses proof of authority, meaning the validator identities are known and legally compliant. This completely eliminates those historical disputes over financial records and provides real, verifiable accountability right at the infrastructure layer.
Section 6. Unifying Islamic capital markets. By solving that core trust issue at an institutional level, we open the door to something much, much larger. You see, the global Islamic finance ecosystem shares the same religious and economic principles, yet its digital infrastructure has always been highly fragmented across different jurisdictions. Because FIUSS allows Awqaf institutions and financial regulators from all across the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the OIC, to run validator nodes, it creates the very first unified pan-Islamic blockchain financial infrastructure layer. It harmonizes transparency standards and creates a massive shared liquidity network across borders.
The whole foundational philosophy behind this explainer can be summed up in one powerful directive. Replace institutional opacity with mathematical certainty. Replace dormant capital with programmable compassion. While most Web3 projects out there are focused on taking digital assets to the moon, this tokenized Awqaf framework is designed to take the impact to the heavens. It finally allows ethical investors to participate in the global economy without ever compromising their values.
Which leads us with one final thought to ponder. The technology is here, the Shariah compliance is fully structured, and a trillion-dollar market is waking up. Are you ready to participate in the world's first tokenized Waqf financial system that transparently rewards you in this life and perpetually in the next? Thanks for joining me as we explored this amazing shift in social finance.